Marriage and motherhood, girl, right? Like, that's a big thing for ladies, for a lot of ladies, you know. Some ladies, that's not their desire, and that is their choice. That is absolutely their choice, what they want to do. I know for myself, I've come to learn that you got to let people have their journey, what it is for them, because God will give you a piece. Like for me, I know I'm a wife, and I say it, and I say it with such confidence because I've struggled with the thought of, oh, maybe it's not for me, maybe I shouldn't. And I remember I had a mentor from a group who said, you have to settle the thing. And once God settled that thing with me, that I am a wife, it was all she wrote. I was like, okay, well, God, what do I need to do to prepare? To get ready for that? So speaking of that, it's like the now and the future, right? The now, right? Because you are married. You are walking this journey out. Like you said, almost 10 years of marriage. That is amazing and kind of crazy. It is. Like I was in Boston. Crazy. That's bananas.
For a long time, I know.
Like that's bananas. I know. But I'm so happy for you all because I've seen the journey from afar and some up close. Being able to just witness you all grow together and as each other and like as one rather, right? And that is just, that's beautiful. And so, you know, for you, I would love to just know, like, when you imagine your future from where you are now, as a wife, as a mother, what do you see? What do you envision?
I love that question. This whole talk, we've really talked so much about the journey of evolving in God, coming back to ourselves in a way to understand who we are and heal any of those wounded places so that we can pour out. And it's no different in a marriage and as a parent, honestly, because it's easy to see those old stories come up in a marriage that may be tied to a previous relationship, even now, even years later. How our parents parented us, and really sitting with, I know what it felt like to be on this side of it as the child, and I now know as an adult, I've come far enough to know how that reflects in my adult life. So it's a lot of processing and thinking of what I do now will affect who they are. So being very mindful, like looking forward, I am almost, I dissect a lot. I'm just a thinker. That's just part of who I am. I break things down to tiny grains of sand, and I'm very mindful and aware. So for me, that goes to my marriage. I apply that to my marriage, and I apply that to being a parent. And so even recently, for example, being mindful of trying not to tell my kids to hurry up all the time, because I know later on that'll create an anxious response where they feel like they have to rush through things. And I'm in a season where I've taken years to unlearn anxiety of feeling rushed to get stuff done, the hustle culture of all of that, which is another topic. But being extremely mindful, right? And trying to be so much like God and show so much love and compassion. I think as it pertains to marriage, you know, I never thought I was going to get married at 25. To be honest with you, I think when I was much younger, I was like, oh, I'd like to be married by 25. And it actually happened. I did not think it would happen that way. And if I'm being honest, Garen and I, when we met each other, we both were going through breakups. Like, I literally said to my friends, because I was the relationship gal. Growing up, I enjoyed being in relationships, long-term relationships. So if I'm being completely transparent, I've never really spent a lot of time not in a relationship. And so for me, after my breakup before I met my husband, I was like, I don't want a relationship. I want to be by myself. I want to be with my friends. I'm good. Like, I need some time. And sure enough, little Garen Smith walked into my world. And I remember even our friends like trying to set us up, because I remember her. I was like, we had a girls' night. Her boyfriend at the time showed up with Garen. There was something about that guy. It's so funny because when I looked at him, I knew there was something. I just didn't know what. And I will not call it love at first sight.
Go ahead.
I didn't know what, but it was something. But I still was trying to reject it at first. Like the first time, he denies this, but he asked me to hang out, and I was just like making up excuses. I was like, I didn't want to be with anybody. And naturally, I'd say, in 2 months, like we both looked at each other like, I feel like you or my spouse. Like we're gonna get married one day. And fast forward a year later, we did. But I think for us too, it's just this consistent going deeper with one another. And it's interesting because Garen is a very laid back kind of guy. He's not like trying to do anything really deep. He's just trying to show up and like just, you know? Mm-hmm. But it's inevitable. Yeah. And I think if I look forward to our marriage, it's just continuing to learn each other on levels where we just haven't reached before. Yeah. And it's really enjoyable. And just to see how much he's changed, how much I've changed, and how much we've supported each other through those changes. And I'd say more than anything that I'm just so thankful that he is that person that I get to go through this with, because I wouldn't be who I am without him. Yeah. Truthfully. So it's just continuing to go deeper, and I think just becoming the most like God we can. And I think that as parents we're challenged to do that, as husband and wife we are, to truly exude the love of God. And the longer we choose to say yes to each other, that God is just doing that work naturally in our day to day.
Y'all see why I love her? No, like seriously, and you just said something that inspires me for where I'm at as a single woman. And that is, you know, I heard someone say being married is waking up every day and choosing that person every single day. Yeah. I choose to honor you. I choose to respect you. I choose to love you. Even when you're on my nerves, even when I just need a minute, like I choose you. And God, I know who I am as your daughter. And if I can trust you with every other area in my life, I can trust you with my future and my spouse and the children that will come of our union. And it's just like, I am asking God to help me be the woman that wakes up every day and chooses my husband every single day. And it's like, sometimes you just know a thing, and you have to rest in God and know, I don't know what you're doing, but God, okay. And it's interesting because for me, in my previous relationships, I was not a girl that was in a bunch of relationships, but when I found someone, or was with someone rather, that I enjoyed, I was in that thing. I mean, I was committed to it. Like, and I know that that is who I am. I'm a commitment person. I ain't got time for games and playing, and I'm very straight to it. You know, and I found myself do that with my first 2 relationships. And for different reasons, I was seeking those things, right? But now, evolved as the woman I am today, I'm like, okay, God, prepare my heart, prepare my mind, help me, even my body, prepare me to be who I need to be for the man that you have for me to be his helpmate. The man that's going to cultivate me, right? Prepare me to be his peace. Prepare me to create an environment that's easy for him to do work, right? Where it's just not like, oh, I come home and I got a headache. And it's like, because I've seen that. I've seen people do that, right? I told my parents all the time, I saw the absolute best and I saw the absolute worst in one household. And I think that was purposeful.
It is.
God did that because there weren't other kids in the house with me. So I got to see an example of, if you trust God, this is what can happen. And if you decide, I'm going to just do me, this is what can happen. And God was so kind, because I love seeing the dynamic of my parents. And now I'm just like, okay, I can't imagine what it's going to be like, right? No, let me choose your words wisely. Thank you, Ms. Ash. I can't imagine what it's going to be like to trust God in this area. I don't know what it's going to look like, but I can imagine God, no matter what situation we're in, it's just like any other situation. I can be asleep right on that couch in the midst of whatever's going on, right? Insider, but you know what I'm talking about. I can be asleep right on that couch because I'm not worried, God. And I don't want to bring that kind of anxiety and stuff to my spouse, right? Because I want to enjoy my life. You're older. You're doing it later, right? I'm going to be 30-something, right? And so it's just like, I ain't got time to be wasting it. Like, you're going to have regular everyday stuff. Like one of my sisters told me, she said, you're going to have regular everyday stuff. But I never saw her fight with her husband in front of people. I never saw her raise her voice in front of people, and they had the most hilarious relationship ever. And now, in our later years, she's like, oh, we had plenty of disagreements behind that bedroom door where we worked it out and we figured it out. And I was so grateful, because it was just like, we didn't get a lot of that growing up either. You didn't see people work through stuff. You either saw all the rose-colored glasses, and it was just like, oh, this is beautiful, or you saw, this is terrible, and I don't want anything to do with it. So I appreciate when people will open up and share. And so, like I said, from that, having children, I can't wait, girl.
Yes.
You know, I'm like, I do one son. I feel like I'm probably going to end up with 3, but I want 2.
Yeah.
But I don't know what it is about that number 3.
There's
It
some
just
about
be,
it.
I be like, you know. But God might honor my request and just let me do 2.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he'll be funny because I'm like, God, I'm believing you for twins. Okay.
Oh, you might be.
I be saying that because one of my friends, him and his wife had twins, and it's not on either side of their family.
Well then,
And I said, God, I believe you. And I'm like, God, he's so funny. He'll be like, okay, you get that twins and another one.
All right, and a third.
And I'm gonna be like, nah, come on, you know. But that's just me being silly, but also saying the things that I talk about with God, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm excited because as a parent, one thing I will say, my parents allowed me to be a child. And there were things, every parent has things they would wish they could do better, things they're working on, etc. But at the end of the day, I had so much love, and my parents always supported me, no matter what. No matter what. And like, they checked me, they corrected me, but they developed a relationship and a trust with me where they could let me do things that other kids weren't allowed to do because they had trust in, you're going to be the truth. Even when I scratched up my daddy's Cadillac, when I did certain stuff, I told him, and I was nervous as all get out, and he was like, hey, you gotta pay attention, right? But he let me drive more because it was this, you know what I'm saying? So from childhood to providing to letting them become who they are, all the way to being older and making mistakes. Even my dad being with me at, you know, through a breakup that I didn't tell him the details, but he got to see me get out. I'm so happy that he got to see it because he was so concerned about it. You know, but he got to see me out, and he got to speak life into me about my future, really, and, you know, what he would desire. And I'm just like, I want to be that for my kids, you know, and I want them ultimately, I always say I was blessed because my parents taught me to have a relationship with Jesus.
Yeah.
They didn't force him on me.
Yeah.
And I love Jesus so much because of that. And I want that for my children, you know, that are just chilling right now.
Yeah.
So,
literally just chilling.
That's what I imagine, girl.
That's so beautiful.
That's what I imagine.
So beautiful. And I love so much that you had parents that gave you space to figure things out, to arrive to God whenever you were ready to, and not force him on you, and also to develop a trust, because I think that kids really do need a safe place.
They do.
And it starts with their parents, with people that they can trust, and if they don't have that, then they develop trust issues right later on in life. So I'm glad that you had proper support in your upbringing.
Girl, yeah, good. I feel like she's gonna be coming back at some point. I don't know.
I'd be glad to come back anytime.
Yeah. I have had so much fun.
It's been so
y'all,
good.
can y'all see? This is just a normal thing.
We
this
do
is
this.
what we do
Yes.
all the time.
Yes.
And so just being able to bring her to the channel and share with you all just a snippet of what we talk about and how God has connected us, because this is really a God thing.
Yeah, all
I'm
day.
so grateful.
Yeah.
And I love you,
I love
girls.
you.
Thank you for being. Look, as we stretch. We'll see y'all next time. Bye. Okay, that was so good. I am so excited.